he's just leaving it there to mock everybody else who doesn't have that same.
Look what you can't do.
Look at this.
Just like planting his flag. Yeah.
Did I leave that there? My mistake.
Oh, must have been from this.
This is now.
Yeah, we're like, whoa! I can't believe it's not butter.
This is officially now part of the DT bathroom board on Trello. By the way,
there's a DT bathroom board.
Oh yes, and if you'd like an invite, I'll be happy to invite you. Yeah.
I don't know, but yes, yeah, I do.
Does it move from like?
There are several columns that represent several different things. You really got to see it to believe it. This started like
that's not a promising way to start that off.
This started like 3 years ago. Then it kind of got forgotten, and then I've been reviving it lately.
What are some of the columns? Like give some examples. Like what? Like
I'll have to pull. Maybe we'll leave it for the end of the podcast.
Okay.
I'll pull it up.
The surprise reveal will be the DT bathroom guide. I'm not really sure what to do with that. Let's get started on our actual show today.
Our home editor's like, what are you guys doing to my section?
Right. Hello, everyone. This is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly roundtable tech podcast where we talk about the tech topics of the day, whatever's trending, and whatever you want to talk about, because we are live on Facebook and YouTube right now. And we've got several different things we're going to get to today. We're going to kind of be all over the place, but all, I think, things you're going to be interested in. We've got some robot talk, hashtag robot talk, and then we've got a few other things that we're going to be getting to in relation to drones. We're going to be covering a lot of stuff that we want to get your opinions on, some fall TV buying guide that we're going to get to. We've got Rick's arm in my shot, and then also
in my shot.
In my shot.
Get on my shot, man.
This is my shot, bro. Yeah, sorry. Oh.
and first off, we're going to talk about the Apple iPhone 10. Yes, the $1,000 monster that you can buy now from Apple. Well, not buy yet. Pre-orders, I don't believe, even started yet. But now we've already found out it is getting delayed, and that's kind of our question that we're asking at the top is, are you surprised that it's already delayed after they made the big announcement last week, or does this just par for the course for what you think Apple's going to do? Let's introduce our roundtable. I'm Greg Nibbler. To my right.
I am Rick Stella. I run the outdoor section.
Nope.
DT.
Nope. Sorry, that is no longer your name.
Oh, you guys made one for me.
Okay.
I've been working on this.
Breaking news here at Digital Trends. Before we get started on all of this, everybody here who does the podcast eventually gets nicknames. And I believe Caleb, a.k.a. the Whiskey Mist down on the end, has a nickname
Oh, gosh.
for Mr. Rick Stella. And I have not heard it myself either. I told him not to tell me.
Well, I ran this by Hot Nozzle, and she was...
Hot Nozzle approved.
Her reaction was good, so I'm hoping it's going to go over well here as well. I've decided that, Rick, from now on, you will be known as Metro Man Cake.
Wow.
Metro
Man Cake.
Okay,
all right.
What do you think?
It's
yes
M&M
or no?
For short.
That's
M&M. Wow. Yeah, Metro Man Cake.
Well, let's throw that out to the Facebook and...
we will put that out there. Metro Man Cake.
Does that suit our good friend Rick Stella here?
For Rick Stella as we go through here.
You guys already talking about peanut M&Ms in here? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I also want to call out. So my friend Keelan, I actually gave him a nickname earlier today.
Did you? What's Keelan's nickname?
Mr. Pancakes is what I've decided to call him.
He is not today. Yeah, Metro Man Cake.
He is not a fan, so he's already talking a lot of smack in there to me. So I just want to address that.
Yeah, a second ago he said he didn't like your Thursday shirt.
Yes,
he's like, this Thursday Greg shirt, not good.
Mr. Pancakes is upset about his nickname.
I was just trying to figure out how
Metro
to
Man Cake to
encapsulate Rick's ruggedness and his handsomeness, you know, and his metropolitan sort of air. And Metro Man Cake just came out.
Vibe.
Yeah,
very metropolitan. Metro Man Cake.
Well, it's a work in progress. If that doesn't sail, then we'll have something. But I think we need to go with that for now.
All right.
Start. All right.
Okay, so Metro Man Cake, and then to the right of Metro Man Cake.
This is Hot Nozzle.
This is Hot Nozzle. Adrian
Nozzle. Warner, a.k.a. Hot Nozzle.
A.k.a. Hot Nozzle, and then down on the end.
The Whiskey Mist.
The Whiskey Mist.
You almost gave up doing it in the voice a few podcasts.
I did, and I can't.
It's so
I can't let it go.
delightful,
I have to,
That was 5 minutes of nickname content.
I need to work
And that's our show.
All right.
Start talking about the tech already. Gosh.
All right, MMC, they're already abbreviating Metro Man Cake. So let's talk about
catching on.
The Apple iPhone 10. So the question is this the fact that it's delayed? And so that's what's come out now is that it sounds like, pre-orders, I believe, are October 27th. You have to wait till and to even order this one. And then They have not even started assembling these phones yet. So it's expected maybe they'll start delivering some in December. Otherwise, it's going to be wait until next year before you can even get your hands on this. And to me, after already going through all of this huge thing, I mean, we've been waiting for a year basically to get this whole presentation that we got last week. Right. The whole thing about iPhone 10 is going to change the world. And now it's going to be, another 3 months before anybody can even get their hands on one? Does that surprise anybody in here?
I'm surprised we're not talking about iPhone 11 already, because what I heard, no, I don't think it doesn't surprise me either. They already, I mean, with it being later and that you can even do pre-orders in the first place, it seemed like this was destined to be pushed back, and it's unfortunate, of course. But
yeah,
without looking it up, because can anybody in this room remember the last time Apple made a big announcement and said, "Oops, sorry, you can't actually get it for another 3 or 6 months or whatever"?
Not off the top of my head.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Does this give them a little bit of breathing room for the iPhone 8, though?
So you're thinking it's strategic, it's not logistics.
I don't think it's strategic. I think it's just you put a bunch of fancy stuff in it, and then it's going to take a long time for that fancy
I think
stuff
they
to
aimed
arrive.
high and they had something to fall back on, like the iPhone 8.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. I
oh,
think
it doesn't
so
hurt us
too.
too much. We have the 8 to push, like, which is like people are talking about it. You know, we just published our review of the iPhone 8, and that gives it some breathing room to live outside of the iPhone X or 10 or whatever.
Did they even open it up for pre-order yet?
No.
No, until the end of October, right?
Yeah, October 27th.
So they don't even have any hard data on how many they need to make on their first run. Here's what I think. I think they had a working prototype, several of them, I'm sure, but they hadn't gone into production run yet. And maybe they hit a snag with ordering up the OLED screens. Maybe whoever is supplying the OLED screens, that would be Samsung or LG most likely, told them, "Oh, sorry, we're not going to be able to finish the screens until whenever." Or there's another component that I think it's just a supply issue. I bet they have the people ready to mash this thing together and put it in a box and ship it to the U.S. But maybe somewhere along the supply chain, they're just having trouble getting the parts they need.
Well, and there is, what they buy the OLED from Samsung, right? Is that who they're buying from? Or LG?
It's either Samsung or LG. I don't actually know. There's only so many OLED screen suppliers out there. LG is the only one that makes TV size ones, but I know that Samsung, I believe, makes an AMOLED screen that they put in their phone. So
it just seems really odd to me that they've gone through all this and had this many problems. I mean, they're Apple. They're supposed to be able to solve. It does not look good.
Doesn't matter what the real reason is. It just doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. I mean, and the longer and longer they wait, I mean, are people going to just decide to go to a Samsung phone? I mean, I suppose if you're really into Apple, and we've got like a comment here, Mary says, my new iPhone 8 comes tomorrow. I love everything Apple since my first iPod. So someone like Mary who's in that Apple universe and maybe wanted to go for the iPhone 10, maybe this isn't a big deal. Maybe
there
you're
are
willing to wait.
thousands of people like that, like Mary.
Did they put a hard date out?
No.
Well,
I do
the hard
not
date
believe
now
so.
is like November 3rd or something, or was.
Or did they
November
just
3rd.
say
this
it's
is not
gonna
even
be a
from
few
Apple
months?
themselves? This is from the chip manufacturer or somebody who works at the chip manufacturing facility.
Yeah. So and that's kind of where it is. It's so ambiguous, and there's all this information coming out, and Apple's really doesn't seem to be in front of it as far as.
So they haven't
control of
commented
this.
on this at all. There's
I
no
don't
word
know
from
unless
Apple.
something's come out. I mean, this was just breaking today about the.
So according to
about
Apple,
that.
this
So
is still coming
it's
out on
possible.
November 3rd, and you can get your phone on November 3rd or whenever that November date was that they said.
Yeah, and I don't.
This is just like third party.
All right. Well, hold on. I'm not
That's
going
bad.
Maybe we shouldn't get so riled up because just because some chip manufacturer said something doesn't mean Apple won't say, "Oh, really? Screw you. We'll go have our chip made
somewhere
over
else.
here,
Right.
and we'll still make our delivery date."
I think at this point, I kind of believe the chip manufacturer, to be honest, myself. But I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly what comes down with it. But that's what I was curious about is with that, if it's going to affect anybody's opinions on buying the phone or not. I mean, they've been rumored to have delay after delay after delay. And they even right up to the last minute where they were going to have the fingerprint scanner decided they couldn't do that. So I'm not surprised if behind the scenes there's some issues that are going on. I don't know. That's kind of where my opinion is on.
They developed two phones.
Yeah.
I don't, not to give them like a pass or anything, but
Right.
I'm not terribly surprised that it could be delayed. But it is something. I mean, I would wait until Apple says something, especially if they're still thinking of putting in the pre-orders out at the end of October.
Okay, taking a look here at some of the comments. Let's see. Adam says, "Who cares? Give them more time to improve. Not to mention more people to whine about the price, about the $1,000. It is $1,000." Juan says it's not a big deal to him.
He says he'll wait till January 3rd.
Wait till January 3rd. There's people already talking about the LG V30 going with the LG. So I mean, it looks like if you're really into Apple, probably this isn't a big deal for you. Like,
I'm looking
it's
to
not gonna
upgrade,
end
and
up-
I was trying to think about either getting an 8 or a 10, and I think I would just wait to get the 10. if I'm gonna upgrade, you know.
Yeah.
At least according to Julian's
So
review.
you go for the full $1,000.
Well, the 8 is not much like different than the 7, at least according to our review. You know, so I don't know if you guys are upgrading your phones or not. You look like
I
you
thought
just got
about
a
it.
brand new one, but
Yeah.
it's okay. Mine's just as bad. So, and we all have iPhones here. But if you guys were gonna upgrade, would you get the 10 or would you get an 8? You know, it's like only a difference of like $8 or $9 per month if you're gonna be getting a.
Yeah, I'd probably just go for the 10 because
Since
I
you-
don't think I would upgrade until next year, anyways.
Yeah, see, now I would upgrade this winter, and Verizon takes trade-ins of even like the 6 and would give me like a few $100 off.
At this point, I'm going with whichever one is going to give me the biggest trade-in value, since I never really own my phone anymore. I hate that.
Right.
I miss the days when there was like, you paid $200,
Yeah.
the rest was subsidized by the manufacturer, and you owned your phone for $200, and
Like,
then you could do
in
what you
most
wanted
of
to.
the rest of the world.
Yeah, and then you could sell it privately and get a bunch of money for it, more than you paid for it sometimes,
Right.
and then, you know, flip that into your next bill. Now you can't do that because you're paying a
Yeah.
rental fee, right?
Verizon only just stopped doing that. This was like I've got this one when they just switched that over. But do you have the 7 Plus?
This is the 7 Plus, and
What's your service?
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Yeah, and it's fine. I wish I had more memory. You know, this came by way as a review sample, so it only has 32 gigs in it, and it's almost worthless at that. Like
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I went
That's
from
not-
I can't put
I,
anything
Yeah,
on this.
no,
I
I
know.
can't either. It's like I take
Thank you,
5
Cloud.
photos
You
of my
can't.
dog
You can't
and-
add in an SD card on anything with Apple, right?
No.
you can actually. You can
Can you?
store photos and videos through a Lightning Jack storage unit.
Oh,
SanDisk
okay.
makes a Lightning Jack adapter, so I mean, really, that's my saving grace.
Okay.
If I'm out. I ran out of storage space while I was shooting videos at Cedia. Like, I'm in the middle of the video, and they're like, "Oh, it stopped." I ran out of storage space. So, yeah, slap this little thing in it, and that saved my butt. That's the only way to get around it.
Okay.
But you're not
Dongles.
storing your, like, Spotify songs on there. or
Right,
anything like
yeah.
that.
But even the new ones, I think the lowest is still 64 gigs, right? 64
on the new
250, right?
on the new ones, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. It looks like either people are for Apple and they don't care, based on the comments that I'm seeing here on Facebook, or they're for Android and they don't care.
That's so weird. What a sea change we've seen
Yeah.
in attitudes around Apple and Android.
As far as you just stick with
Oh,
what
wait,
you're.
no, we haven't.
It is the Ford Chevy debate of the modern age. So there we go. So Android and Apple. So the Apple iPhone 10 possibly delayed until maybe January, and people don't seem to. It doesn't seem to matter too much. All right, let's get on to some of our other topics here, because we have to get to robots, and that's the most important thing, obviously, of the day. But we need to talk about something huge that's coming out for digital trends here. I believe. I'll let Caleb say when it's coming out. I don't want to say exactly.
We don't have a hard date, but it's
We
gonna
don't have a
be
hard
like-
date.
It looks like it's going to be about a week and a half away from now. Yeah.
Well, and maybe I'll just let you, Caleb, explain exactly what's been going on. 'Cause
Well,
you guys have been working a lot.
I've
behind
been
the scenes on
I've
this.
been gone
Yeah.
for the most part. Like, nobody has seen me for 3 months, and the reason is because we got contacted by Amazon to, as an independent third party with full editorial autonomy, create a bunch of videos for them. So the short version of the story is, Rich, video producer, and I got in a room and we basically cranked out 77 videos for Amazon.
That is a lot of videos.
Yeah. 42 of those videos were TV unboxing and setup videos and review videos. So we did 26 unboxing and setup videos for each individual TV that we had. 26 TVs in here all at the same time, which I don't know who has ever really gotten to do that before. We had 4 or 5 TVs from, like, you know, the entry level all the way to the flagship from Samsung, LG, Sony, and TCL. So we got to compare the best of the best of the best out there, as well as all the ones that are, you know, more likely to get bought by most folks, you know.
Right. Right.
So we're coming up on the fall. You know, it's sports time. Football is huge. People are buying TVs now, and then all the way through to the holiday season where people really go nuts for purchasing TVs. So we took this situation to our advantage. A lot of those videos, too, for Amazon were explainers like, what is 4K? What is HDR? How do I set up my TV? How do I hook up my receiver or my soundbar? What do I look for? You know, so helpful explainers and how-tos to go with it. And we've taken all those assets and we've created our own fall TV buying guide, so that anything you need to know or want to know before you go and buy a TV is in one place. You don't have to go anywhere else. It's all right there, including a ton of reviews. And once you decide what TV you want to buy, if it's one of the 26 we reviewed, then there's a full unboxing and setup guide so that you know how to get it set up, hooked up, and getting the best picture quality out of it, like right out of the gate.
See, I think that's great. Like going from the beginning knowledge, what is HDR? Doing something like that all the way to the very advanced side of it. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah,
I think that's going to help out a lot.
It was
of people.
super fun, and we got to pick like legitimately what is the best TV out there. And there's actually 2 TVs I'm really excited about that everybody should know about. One is more of a high-end TV. Not everybody's going to pick this up, but it's the LG C7 OLED. It's the perfect combination of amazing picture quality and form factor and price. Like, it's as reasonable as OLEDs have ever been. It's incredible. Not everybody's going to buy that TV.
What's the size and price?
Well, I mean, for a 55, you're spending, I think it's $2,500.
Right.
For the
So
60,
that's
for
a
the 65, I think it's $3,500. That's what it was before, but it's always changing. Check Amazon. The other one is one that nobody saw coming, and everybody should know about, and that is the TCL P series. It's a 4K HDR TV with Roku built right in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And TCL usually known as being inexpensive, but also kind of the budget picture to go with the budget price. This thing is incredible. It's playing right up there with all the big boys.
Really?
It's an absolutely excellent LED TV. Nobody really sees this coming, so they're not really taking them very seriously. But yeah, the TCL P series, it goes for about $600 for a 55-inch TV, and it will knock you on your butt.
That's
it looks
awesome.
incredible.
That is crazy cheap for that.
And Roku's built in, and all the apps know where the HDR and 4K content is. So, if you go to watch Breaking Bad on Netflix, it's going to be in 4K. If you go to watch
I like it.
Mozart in the Jungle on Amazon, you're getting HDR 4K just automatically. You don't have to do anything. It just gives you the best version of whatever's out there.
Juan is noting it's about half the price of an iPhone 10
Yeah.
to get that television.
To get
that
a
out there.
55-inch thing that's going to last you years and years and years and years and look awesome. So anyway, if you're thinking about buying a TV and you're wanting to know where to go, what manufacturers are doing what Roku is like versus Tizen or LG's WebOS, it's all going to be in our fall TV buying guide, and that'll go live in about a week or a week and a half.
Cool. Awesome. So that's all going to be at digitaltrends.com.
Yep.
Congrats.
Perfect.
And
yeah.
too, I mean, when you're on Amazon searching for these things, you're going to see
You see
your
these
videos on these things.
Yeah,
right?
if you go search for a TV at Amazon, scroll down past sort of the specs section. There's a related video shorts ribbon down there, and we will be the first, second, and or third video that's in that ribbon.
That's rad.
Do you think you're going to get recognized on the street for your Amazon
doubt
videos?
it. I doubt it.
Hey, that guy
That's
hung
the
on my
Amazon.
TV. Yeah, right.
It's happened a couple of weirdo times in the building,
Yeah.
like they didn't know Digital Trends was here, but maybe they caught a review or something like that. Or a friend was searching for a TV, didn't know I did TV reviews, and they came across it. But yeah, no, I'm not getting recognized on the street. I'm definitely not getting VIP treatment down at the club. So
Jeff Bezos is in there. You're like, but I know him. I know that guy. I'm with that guy.
Jeff Bezos is my daddy now.
Yeah, right. He's sitting somewhere like, yes, I am.
Well, that's awesome.
straight.
So it is going to be coming up at Digital Trends. So just in the near future, we don't know exactly when. Maybe next week. Caleb, any idea as far as
A week
when?
and a half or so, you said?
Week and a half.
I don't think it's going to happen next week. I think it's going to happen the week
Okay.
after next.
right.
And we'll probably do it earlier in the week. And if you visit the homepage, it'll be like huge at the top fall TV buying guide. At least it better be.
Fantastic. Well, let's get on to our next topic here. Actually, so drone deliveries, that's something that Amazon's been working on. And this is not Amazon because it's going to take, I think, a long time before drone deliveries finally get approved in the United States as far as flying over population centers. But Switzerland doesn't care about that. And they are already approving this. They have a special subset of drone deliveries that are going to be happening, I believe, in October. I'll pull this up. I think it's mid-October is when it's finally going to come into place, where they've approved it. And it's not going to be for delivering Amazon products or pizza or anything like that. It's for medical drone services. So they're going to be delivering medical materials from like hospital to hospital. In other words, like blood samples, like biomedical content.
Surgeons.
Hazardous
Is going to
materials.
be hazardous materials. That's
Holy
part of
cow.
they've got a video that shows a little bit of it, and they're showing these vials that are placed into, a sealed container that then goes into the drone, and then the drone delivers it to another, wherever it goes, a testing center or something like that, which I'll be honest, I don't know how comfortable I feel about biomedical hazardous materials flying over my head. That just seems
Yeah.
like an odd thing to start off
Hepatitis from heaven does not.
with. Yeah, exactly.
I don't really.
It's a new kind of acid rain, you know?
doesn't sound.
I mean, why not just start with pizzas? You know, a 6-pack of beer. Deliver a 6-pack of beer. Then we'll step it up to the blood samples that are flying through the air.
Organs
I don't know, I'm
raining in
using
the sky.
Organs,
Yeah,
seems
Get
like
the liver.
quite the leap. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Would you be
it
comfortable
makes
with it?
sense because there's probably a need for this, obviously. Like,
Yeah, they got to go over the Alps or something.
Yeah.
Snow dog
or
can't
get
through
there
it
quick
anymore.
enough, that like more people are needing, liver transplants.
Well, I used to do
delivered
this.
than pizza.
You delivered organs?
not
Or-
organs, dude.
I don't.
Medical samples.
Medical samples. Sorry. I don't know.
At least if I transported
I mean,
an organ, I wasn't aware of
Aware of
it.
it.
I mean,
They
I
probably
see the
have
people
special
driving by with
for that.
the medical, tag on.
Yeah,
the car or whatever.
I drove a bunch of lab samples to and from different sites for processing
Okay.
and stuff like that. And there's a lot of it going on. When you think about it, you can't just load a whole bunch into a truck and take it to one place. They're going all over the place. It's this crazy spider web of transpo, and it's hugely wasteful. Like, I was one guy, running through, 8 gallons of gas a day. And I was only covering a small subsection of what's needed in this one city. So when you think of it in the aggregate, there's tons and tons and tons of, and you can't send it by train. You can't mail it. It's all
Yeah.
time sensitive, right? It has to be a right now. It's one of those few areas where courier service is still necessary. Can't email it, can't fax it. So it makes sense that they're trying to
Okay.
do this.
It
they're
does
trying
make
to solve
sense,
a
yeah.
legit
Put it in
problem.
that context. Yeah. Okay. I understand it a little bit more.
But they
now.
better make that box super secure. 'cause
That's the thing. One mistake with that.
Yeah.
God, that's
Pandemic.
Which just like
It's horrible.
statistically speaking, you're gonna have several mistakes.
Yeah.
Something is
Yeah.
gonna go wrong with it.
But how many more mistakes are going to happen versus like a
Like
Versus
car crashes
driving.
and whatnot.
Yeah,
too. And it also
exactly.
cleans up. I mean, if Sweden's trying to go like incredibly green, this is a good way to do it. And
It's
Yeah.
way less energy, way less carbon
Yeah.
emissions.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it from that
Way
standpoint.
faster.
But it's
Yeah,
just
it's probably way
I
faster
would,
than a car.
I would say the medical side of it is more important to me than
You just
whether
want
it's
pizza
green.
delivered to you via
I mean,
drone.
pizza is what I want, obviously, and a 6-pack of beer. But no, I mean, as far as that,
blood sample.
I'm low on blood. Send blood and pizza
Yeah.
and beer.
pizza.
So
but I get your point though, Caleb. That does make sense though in that aspect. In that
I
you've
mean,
gotta
and this
deliver
coming from
this
the
happens a lot.
everything is stupid guy,
right?
did you drive a car
Caleb
that had-
likes it. Yeah.
Did
then
you drive a
it's-
car that had sirens? You could go blow
No,
lights. Or no?
oh god, no. It wasn't like a rush job. I was in an
like a
old
van.
beat up Toyota Corolla with one blue door on an otherwise white car.
Wait, they let people's blood transfer around and
in like a pizza delivery car. You're like,
Yeah, pretty
in
much.
like a PT Cruiser.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's
it was
just
time
independent
sensitive, but not like
contractors.
clock ticking down time sensitive.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. It had to be that day.
Okay, well then, in that case, probably nothing that is dangerous to any population is going to be flying around in these. If it's something like that, that's trustworthy in
That's
an
what they
old
want,
sedan.
You would hope, yeah.
I mean, crossing fingers.
Right.
I assume that also that this would cut down on cost a lot. And I mean, whoop-de-doo for Switzerland, they have probably socialized healthcare. But like, if that could get applied anywhere, you can cut costs, and then somewhere down the line, it'll come back to consumers. Is probably worth investing.
Good point. All right, that's
Investing in-
hot nozzle approved right there.
Hot nozzle, and whiskey.
Yeah.
Whiskey
Stamp of
mist.
approval. Yeah.
All right. Well, there's that. I want to get to a couple other things too here before we run out of time. And this next one, I think, pertains to some people in this room in a little bit of a way, and it has to do with the Washington Post announcing this.
Good setup.
Hey, me too. So the Washington Post has apparently over this last year been incorporating an AI bot named Heliograph that has been printing and creating content for their articles. And I guess this thing's created 850 separate different articles over the last year, just by gathering data and then writing a story and making it seem as though a human has written it, like in a content that's easily consumable by a human. It's not just like a list or something like that. It's an actual article detailing.
It doesn't sound
something
like
that's happened.
broken English or anything. Like
Supposedly, yeah, it doesn't sound like broken English. And they're looking to increase it more and more and take over a lot of local content is what they want to do. Like local, they're saying, including reporting on subjects like congressional races and high school football games. So essentially eliminating ostensibly a lot of local reporters. They're saying it's going to help the reporters out by giving them more time to work on bigger stories.
like more time to get the rest of your life together because you're fired.
Yeah.
This is the new pivot term. We're pivoting not to video but to robotics.
To robotics.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I want to see what your guys' opinions are on this. Like, how do you feel about this?
We've had this conversation before too. There's like subtle things that I haven't read an article, so I don't know what it actually sounds like. But I think there's like subtle things that like only a human could give like their actual like take on it, and they've experienced like something like with.
Well, I like what he was saying about the local stories. Like I can see. First of all, this is fascinating. That it can,
absolutely,
that it can come up, read a bunch of facts elsewhere, not plagiarize, and come up with something. But I'm thinking right now, this sounds more like. Johnny Rocket, the quarterback at Hudson Bay High School, scored a touchdown, and they won the game, and it's facts, and this is what happened, and people rejoiced, yay. Versus a human interest story where you're digging into something or breaking down really difficult tech in a way people can relate to and understand and digest. It sounds
and like giving unique angles from like paragraph to paragraph, rather than just aggregating stats and like basically putting a box score into words.
But it is going to put the news flip the PR news flipping people potentially out of business, right? Yeah. Because even we do a little bit of that. We get a PR news flip. It's not. It's definitely worth letting people know about, but it's not necessarily like groundbreaking. It's not going to be of note maybe 2 months from now. It's just a flip. This is what happened. This is what's coming. This is when it's going to come. This is how much it's going to cost. Done. No analysis needed. Just these are the facts. But I want to see some of those articles,
Well,
they did it for
there was something that, there was like a challenge after a baseball game. There was a recap done by humans and then by robot, and the robot wrote the better article.
Yeah. And I think like the Olympics last year in Rio used a little bit of this as well too. And I think in the past too, like a robot got second in like a literary like novel writing contest recently. Which is crazy, So that's maybe something that might actually take our job. But I think it's cool too for something like that, like low level,
fascinating.
But how quickly is this going to advance?
As quickly as it allows itself to, right? Like whatever the machine learning thing can do, it's only going to get better.
The thing is, its profits is ultimately what it comes down to.
It could write every
revenue. They don't have to pay somebody. It just churns out all of that stuff.
It could write every local government article across the country in a matter of seconds.
Here's my question though: like what we're witnessing, from here at Digital Trends, is that like people watch more video than they read right now, And I wouldn't say that the written word is out the window yet. We're not close to that, but it does seem like we're kind of leaning in that general direction. I don't think a robot is ever going to replace that. Like if you take a look at YouTube and all the review videos you see there, it's the person holding the thing and showing it to them and making their observations seemingly in real time to you in a very personable way that I think is really attractive about that kind of reporting. Journalism, being on the scene and actually showing people what's going on. Right. I don't think the robot can replace that right now. This is just basic written word stuff. And I think maybe some people will be out of a job, but but the deeper, more important journalism and like I said, this video stuff, this on-camera type stuff, it's not getting replaced by a robot.
Trolling a robot's not going to be as much fun for all of them when you control a human.
They'll clap back with just like the best statistical like back at you. You're just like, damn, what in my place?
This robot's an idiot. This robot doesn't know what he's talking about.
I actually think it's the robots that are going to be trolling the humans. Like, remember with the deployment? What was it called? Twitter's little AI bot that was just a complete catastrophe.
That turned
it was
into
like
a Nazi
Microsoft's bot, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
only got like
Microsoft.
Nazi quotes, but it had a Twitter handle, and it was tweeting like Nazi history and stuff, and like cussing at people, and like
it was offensive and also hilarious.
Yeah, right. And they like pulled it down immediately. It was like, oh yeah, that's our bad. Anyways,
whoopsie daisy.
So Windows 10.
That's people are like, that's the kind of reporting we can expect coming forward. All right. Well, the final thing I wanted to get to, just with robots, and sometimes I have to put in a robot story here, especially at the end. And this one's a little bit unnerving, and it reminds me of possibly in the future we're going to have a real life Voltron situation going on, and it's from this guy in Belgium, and he's a computer scientist, and he's working on what's he? Yeah, exactly. A guy in Belgium. What he's calling mergeable nervous systems for robotics. And he's working on combining autonomous robots with a central CPU that can then control all of these robots and then get them, when they're not working autonomously, to work together to combine and achieve some kind of a goal. The example they have is a video. They've got all these little, and if you're watching right now, you can see the video. I'll try to explain it if you're listening to the podcast. But all these little circular robots, they look like kind of Roombas that
it's
are
like
zipping
Power
around.
Rangers when they do their thing, where they
Yes.
put all the things together.
And there's a whole bunch of them, probably like 10 of them, and he can. By putting this system in, they will all automatically form shapes, different colors they can use during this thing.
Oh,
all
like
by
talking to each other to create these shapes.
and they're talking to each other with this central CPU kind of giving them the command, and then they make this thing happen. So the CPU says, make this shape with these colors. They talk to each other and then make this shape with those
When
colors.
they get together, are they then stronger?
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like
it. Exactly.
Then they combine their
Like the
relatives.
Dinobot, right?
Yeah, right.
You might have an individual T-Rex and Stegosaurus and Triceratops, but when you bring them together, you have one massive, powerful
yeah,
dinosaur.
Yes, or Constructicon,
Robot
all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
robot.
So I don't just the idea.
I want to see this integrated. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off,
no,
but I
go
want to see
ahead.
this integrated in for medical purposes, like internal medicine, nanobots going in, being able to operate independently to some degree, but work together to solve a problem, and have that
Like
be
attack an
dynamic. Like
issue and-
you don't necessarily know what you're running into until you get there. Maybe it's at a really small cellular level that we can't observe with the naked eye, but they can. Because they have the optics to be able to do that because of the scale and go in there, kill cancer cells and selectively identify those cells and just attack those cells as opposed to healthy cells. I mean,
Which there is a lot of research going into nanobots and biomedical research as far as that.
Yeah.
Tiny
putting
little
them-
bots with
yeah,
very
injecting
less
them
intrusive
in.
surgery in there. You wouldn't have to cut people open.
I can
but
see
at the
that.
same time, this is the stuff of sci-fi, like nightmare
This is
flicks.
it. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
I love your positive outlook on it. I'll say, it's weird. Caleb's the positive guy.
Yeah,
today.
I know.
Strangely optimistic.
I'm the one afraid of everything. So I find it mergeable nervous systems is definitely something that a scientist came up with. That's not the marketing department that came up with that term, but that's what it is. I mean, that's what they're working on. So it's just something to look forward to in our nightmares about robots.
Did you ever see that movie Transcendence with Johnny Depp? It was a terrible movie, but it was like
Yes.
he ended up input his consciousness into a machine, and then ended up taking over like all of these machines and working against the humans.
Yeah.
So,
Fun.
Yeah,
That is-
so this is just the start of it.
That is the bottom line. Well, something that robots can't do is put this comment that just came in on YouTube, which just says boobs. So, there we go. So
With like 13
I don't know. I
O's.
think
A lot of O's.
I think
That's
a
a lot of
journalist
O's.
robot could do that.
very enthusiastic boobs. Okay, I think that's about it for today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Trends with Benefits. So we do the show live on Facebook and YouTube every Thursday
Come on,
at
Hot
2:30
Nuzzle.
p.m. Pacific.
Get it together.
We still don't know if Metro Man Cake, the name for Rick, has taken or not.
Yeah, it's
And see,
Yeah.
It's fun for everybody except Rick.
yeah.
That's the sign of a
Sorry.
good nickname.
The booze guy's like, oh hell yeah!
Okay.
Oh gosh.
So please subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to that so you make sure you get it every week, and then just tune in live with us every Thursday. Send us an email, podcast@digitaltrends.com. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll be back next week with another episode.
I mean, who doesn't love cake, right?
That's
true.
Who doesn't love cake?
Metro
Especially
Man Cake.
Metro Man Cake.
well
Yeah,
coiffed,
that's-
well.